According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, or BLS, as of 2020, you are unemployed if you 1. Do not have a job, 2. Have actively looked for a job in the past 4 weeks, and 3. Are currently available to work. Anyone who fits that definition or is currently employed is considered part of the labor force. The unemployment rate is a percentage of the labor force that fits all 3 parts of the definition of someone who is unemployed. The main questions here are you working? If so, great. You're part of the labor force. If not, have you looked for work in the last 4 weeks? If not, you're not considered as part of the labor force, according to the BLS. If so, and you're willing and available to work now, great. You're also part of the labor force, alongside people who are working. Dropping out of the labor force is a very particular subject, which we'll discuss in much more depth when we talk about the possible relationship between inflation and unemployment, and what happens when work disappears. In economics, we assume that an economy has a natural level of employment. This is largely interchangeable with concepts like the non-accelerating inflation rate of unemployment, or NIRU, and the natural level of unemployment. All of these terms basically point to the idea that there's an equilibrium level of the labor force that will be employed when the economy is at full employment. We'll approach full employment soon, but for now, think of it like everyone who wants a job having a job. We can visualize it with a simple supply and demand model of the labor market, with the average real wage in the economy on the y-axis and the level of employment on the x-axis. Equilibrium, where both supply of and demand for employment intersect, would be roughly considered the natural level of employment. Now, in the real world, we would think of this in terms of the natural level of unemployment, acknowledging that there's some amount of unemployment we would expect in an economy, even if its labor market is in perfect equilibrium. That's the case because of the nature of unemployment, which makes it impractical to entirely eliminate. Unemployment can be categorized into 2 broad types. Frictional unemployment exists because people need time to go between jobs. You can imagine that perhaps most people who quit a job don't automatically have another one lined up. So as long as people need to look for a job, there will always be some frictional level of unemployment. But there's also structural unemployment, which exists because the skills or traits of some unemployed people are mismatched with the needs of the economy. Someone without a college degree may face a structural barrier to getting a job in an economy driven by science, technology, and engineering. A person with a disability or a gap in their resume from raising children may face discrimination that effectively acts as a structural barrier to finding work. As long as structural barriers exist between people and jobs offered in our labor market, there will always be some level of unemployment as well. The cyclical nature of unemployment is its most fascinating connection to the rest of macroeconomics. More on that next.